Hello and welcome back. Tonight's movie was The Strangers, Pray at Night. I'm going to start because the original, The Strangers, one of my favorite movies. Like, I always love this one because it's very realistic. Like, I know I've made you watch it probably a couple times.
Nope.
But everything that happens is very believable. It's very realistic. Like, how the strangers kind of torture the people and everything that happens and just really terrorize them. And the situation descends for the victims, but like in a logical way. Like when they end up shooting their own friend and, you know, they're in the kind of unfamiliar house and like just all the bad stuff happens. But it's great. Like I love it. And it has a really good ending with how the bad guys kind of get away. And it just, I don't know. It's very good. I love the original. This one undoes all of that. This is trash. Like whereas the first one, I'd give it like probably a 9 out of 10. This one, maybe a 3. Because there's some visually appealing aspects. But everything else is horrible.
See, we've never watched The Strangers together, but I've watched it on my own, and I liked it enough that I bought the Blu-ray. It was actually one of the first Blu-rays I've ever bought. But I haven't seen it in years, and I really don't remember the first Strangers. I just remember liking it. But yeah, this one got the spirit, but it don't quite get there. I was going to give it like a 5.
I can't even do that. Because I'm comparing it to the original. And like I said, the big thing for me was how realistic the first one was. Like, yes, there are 3 killers in it, but nothing they do is like supernatural or just extraordinary. Like, everything's very grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, that was not the case at all. Like here, they somehow are able to track these people throughout this entire trailer park.
That was my big thing. When the lady was in the tube, and the other lady was in the tube, and I was like, how would they know she would go out of all these places?
Yeah.
How did they know she would go? And then she goes into this random trailer out of dozens of them, and the other killer was already in there. Like,
Yeah, it's... And some of the things they set up ahead of time, like which trailers did or didn't have power and which lights did or did not work, like it was Home Alone levels of bullshit that they were able to prepare for all this. And it's just, it's not believable, it's not realistic, it takes away a lot. Also, they did have a couple good jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them, that's probably why they got a 3. The one with the truck coming through the wall, and then the one in the tube. That was incredible. You had no hint that she was there.
That's
so
true.
when she popped out, that was
true.
really good.
That's true.
And then the truck out of nowhere, that was wonderful. And those are the highlights of the whole movie, were those 2 little 2-second clips.
Well, I like the cinematography. It wasn't just shaky cam all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it looked good. The acting was believable. Not the story and what they did, but, you know, the acting was good, so I wasn't, you know, mad about that. And, yeah, there was, I mean, it had the atmosphere. Like, every time the truck kind of went away and did a big curve around, I was like, ooh, it's coming back.
When you
like,
saw
I enjoyed that.
When you saw the motion blur in the shower, when the parents were in the bathroom, and the husband came up behind her, was just kissing her neck and being sweet, you could actually see movement behind the translucent shower door. And it wasn't a reflection.
Could you?
Yeah. One of the killers was in there, one of the girls.
I don't know if I noticed that one.
But
there were times like when the son went into the cabin store,
the office,
yes. And you know the whole camera was panning around him, and all of a sudden he was looking at a place, and then he turns around, and all of a sudden she's there where he was just looking.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's not something that can happen.
In the first one, there were times where they would be on screen and then not, but enough time had always passed that it was believable. Like, they easily could have come on screen, been menacing for a minute, and then left. Whereas here, they're just appearing and disappearing like apparitions. Also, another huge complaint, and this was yesterday's issue too, is this whole movie was just people behaving stupid.
Yeah.
Like, every decision they made was the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
For one, you don't split up. There's 4 of you, and at the beginning, all they knew was there's 1 of them.
Right.
Well, one's not going to overpower 4 if you all stay together.
One of them murdered your mom. Another one took out your dad, and you're still not going to shoot him after that.
Yeah. Hesitating on the shot was the absolute dumbest thing. No one hesitates at that point. I'm really having a hard time finding good things to say. Like, I wanted to like this. I love the first one.
For me, it had the atmosphere, and it had those few cool moments. You know, like the end I didn't like.
Oh, the ending was the
I didn't
biggest
like the
pile
ending.
of horse shit.
You know, kept coming back and coming back and coming back.
And I don't just
Michael
mean
Myers.
the doctor scene there.
No.
'Cause that was...
That was unnecessary. They didn't need that in the movie
They
at all.
could have cut right before that. When they were leaving in the car, that should have been the end of the movie. But the doctor scene... ugh. But even before that, when he went Ghost Rider on her, and he's
Yeah.
coming up in the flaming truck, and then gets out still holding the axe,
No.
and then charges her, it's like, no, come the fuck on. So yeah, it's super unbelievable. It's super unrealistic. It loses all of the charm and just the good qualities of the first movie, and also the bad guys don't win, which was another thing that I've always lauded the first one for. Is I love that. I love that you get the bad ending. Like, it's satisfying to see them get away and to see it work that way, and it fits the story, and it's wonderful. Here, it's half of the good guys make it, but you're not really excited for it. Like, they have a weird family dynamic that you kind of don't care about any of the characters, and then the ones that win were just kind of stupid and annoying the whole movie, so I'm not happy that they made it. Like, it's not a satisfying ending, it's not a satisfying movie. I give it a 3, and honestly, that's being generous.
It's funny. It's our most Halloween-y, horror-y movie that we've had so far, and it's it's not one we rated highly.
No.
It's funny.
This might be my least favorite. Like, yesterday's movie was stupid and poorly made, but...
You'd rather watch Velvet Vampire again?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
no.
that was dated, but that was absolutely better than this.
No, I'll take this again.
No. But either way, skip this one, especially if you've seen the original. If you haven't seen the original, I don't know, maybe you might find a couple things interesting, but once you've seen the original and you know the characters and you know how the story could go, this is just garbage.
Yeah. What's the time frame between the movies? How long? Ago
There's a big gap. I want to say this is 2008, the first one. 2007. Damn, it was off by a year. And then the new one was pretty recent. Yeah, 2018. So, 11-year gap.
Yeah. They were just milking this one for money.
Actually, too, these are entirely different studios, it looks like. These are... Yeah, there's
Well,
a lot that's
They're
not
both
the same.
Universal.
Universal at the highest thing, but like this one's Intrepid Pictures with Vertigo and some other people, and this was, I don't know, a myriad of logos that we saw, none of which I recognized. So yeah, it's bad. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
That's the end. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. And I keep saying this, but for something hopefully better.
That's really the thing. You know, I mean, how many horror movies are left in the world that you haven't seen that could be worth watching at this point?
Looking at my list, about 400 that I haven't seen. Just in the collection,
But
just
like
physical.
worth watching, Ian.
Well-
Like
As I'm finding out, apparently not a lot.
this is probably the only one I'd classify really as horror out of our whole 10 days or so that we've done this.
I know there's still some bigger names on the list and some newer stuff. Because that's the thing, like, there are some more B-budget movies that I just randomly came across, but there's some newer stuff that was fairly recent, so, I mean, there should be a good mix. Hopefully we'll find something decent. I'm waiting for that, Leslie Vernon or Trick or Treat or one of those standout surprise movies that
And
ends up being amazing.
you had never seen this before?
No.
No? 'Cause,
No.
I mean, you're
I
usually on
actually-
top of the newer horror movies.
I think when
Like,
I
you've seen
originally
all the
got it...
Conjuring and Annabelle's and all
Yeah,
that
I
stuff,
love
right?
those. Except for The Nun. That was crap. But Annabelle and the Conjuring movies were good. The second Annabelle was alright. Or the third one. Comes Home, whichever one that was. But yeah, no, this, I think when the sequel came out, it was near enough to Halloween that I was saving it for a marathon. And then I just missed it the last two, and now that I finally got around to it, I kind of missed the days when I hadn't seen it. Because I did. I came in with high hopes, and no, it lived up to none of them. But we've rambled too much, so we'll see you tomorrow for another movie.
Yeah.